Folks, in my 20 years in the league, I've never seen anything like this. What I'm about to tell you isn't just another rumor. It's not just some speculation. It's a seismic shift, a game-changing move that could redefine the entire NFC North and possibly the NFL. I've been inside league meetings, behind closed doors, and I've heard whispers that would make your head spin. The kind of intel I have right now? It's explosive, it's confidential, and I guarantee what I'm about to unveil is only the surface of a much bigger secret. Something so unprecedented, so meticulously planned, that it's got the league's biggest power brokers trembling. Are you ready for the revelation? Because what's coming next will blow your mind, but first, I need you to lock in, subscribe, smash that like button, and activate the bell. This isn't for everyone, it's for those who eat, breathe, and live this game. You're on the inside now. Let's go. The Detroit Lions are sitting at a crossroads. After a wild 2024 season that saw them finish with a franchise-best 15-2 record, this past year was supposed to be the year they cemented their place among NFL elite. But the unexpected happened. A 9-8 finish missing the playoffs, a team that seemed destined for greatness faltered at the worst moment. And now the Lions' front office, coaching staff, and even ownership are looking at the mirror asking the tough questions. What went wrong? How do we fix it? And most critically, what's the next move that will put us back on top? If you've watched Detroit closely, you know that their biggest weakness in 2025 wasn't just injuries or bad luck. It was clear as day, defensive lapses, especially in coverage. The secondary, once their calling card, became leaky, inconsistent, and vulnerable. That's where the cracks started to show. And if there's one thing I know from diving deep into their game tape and analyzing every snap, it's that the Lions need a game-changing cornerback. Someone who can shut down elite receivers, erase threats, and bring swagger to the back end. They need a player with lockdown ability, a rhythm disruptor, an instinct that intimidates quarterbacks. And stay tuned, because that player I'm about to reveal isn't just a good corner. He's a difference maker at an elite level. But first, let's break down the Lions' needs. When I look at their roster, especially after the departure of veteran players like Dan Skipper, what's glaring is the lack of cornerback depth that can truly match up with the NFC's top passing attacks. Their top guys are promising, sure, but they lack the consistent shutdown presence that can tilt games single-handedly. Films show their struggles, poor technique on certain routes, missed assignments in zone coverage, and an inability to contain top-tier WR1s when it matters most. Analytics bear this out. Their coverage efficiency ranked in the bottom third among playoff contenders. The numbers don't lie. Opponents targeted their secondary more than any other Lions unit, and completion rates soared when tested deep. That's the weak link. And as a scout, I can tell you, fixing this isn't just about signing a veteran stopgap. It's about acquiring a player who elevates the entire defense, who transforms their identity from gritty to formidable. Now, here's the thing. The perfect solution is out there. The league's whispers point to an identity shift, someone who can change the narrative overnight. And folks, that solution lies in Carlton Davis. Yes, Carlton Davis. The cornerback who, up until last year, was a cornerstone for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and who just so happens to be quietly available in trade talks. Why? Because Tampa is deep in rebuild mode. The Bucs are tearing down the roster to become a cap-efficient, youth-focused team, especially after Tom Brady's retirement and their recent draft strategies. Davis, a player who's been a shutdown corner since his rookie year, now finds himself at a crossroads with the new regime. His contract, fairly manageable in terms of cap hit, and his proven track record make him a prime target. So let's dig into why Carlton Davis is the best fit for Detroit, and how he can be the missing piece to their championship puzzle. When I examine Davis's film, it's telling. The guy is a technician, elite footwork, fluid hips, and a temperament that screams shutdown. He's physical but disciplined, rarely giving up big plays, and when tested deep, he's among the league's best at staying vertical and undercutting routes. In 2025, Davis's coverage stats are eye-opening, an 82.4% completion allowed figure, but what's more impressive is his yards per target, just 8.2, well below league average. His pass breakups, 14 in 17 games, that's top-tier production, and his interception against C.J. Stroud was a textbook example of anticipation. reading the quarterback's eyes and jumping the route like a veteran predator. Advanced metrics, such as next-gen stats, show Davis's coverage success rate at an elite 78%, placing him in the top 10% among NFL corners, an undeniable sign of his ability to lock down elite receivers. Scouts rave about his technique, tight hips, quick reactions, and a high football IQ that makes him a nightmare for quarterbacks. His man coverage grades are consistently above 85, and his zone awareness is second to none. What makes him even more attractive? His durability. He played 16 games in 2025, missing just one due to minor injury, and he's been remarkably consistent since entering the league. His leadership qualities are also unquestioned. Teammates respect him, and he exudes a competitive fire that's infectious. Imagine him lining up across from Justin Jefferson, Davante Adams, or even the emerging young stars in the NFC. That's a nightmare for offenses and a dream for the Lions' defensive scheme. But why would Tampa trade him? Well, it comes down to cap space and roster rebuilds. Tampa's recent moves suggest they're prioritizing youth and flexibility. They're sitting on a hefty draft capital and a wealth of young DB talent. Davis's cap hit in 2026 isn't prohibitive, around $12 million, making him an affordable upgrade for a team with aspirations. Rumors suggest the Bucs want to shed some salary to chase a big-name QB or to bank on their youth cores developing. The trade market. There's a lot of buzz about possible compensation packages. A mid-round pick plus a player, maybe a third-rounder and a young linebacker or safety. For the Lions, it's about maximizing value. Think first-round talent in the making, combined with lower picks. Tampa gets cap relief and a chance to rebuild their secondary rapidly. Detroit gets an instant game-changer. It's a win-win, but only if the numbers align. Now, how does Carlton Davis fit into Campbell's scheme? Perfectly. The Lions love a physical, versatile corner, someone who can play pressman and zone interchangeably. Davis's skill set complements their rush-heavy, aggressive defense. He can shadow the opponent's WR1, take away their best option, and allow safeties to roam freely over the top. Technically, he's a carbon copy of what Dan Campbell's defense needs: ball-hawking instincts, aggressive tackling, and unquestioned leadership. In fact, if they pull this off, it's like adding a cornerstone to their foundation, solid, reliable, and ready to lead by example. The worst-case scenario: the trade falls through, Tampa keeps Davis, and the Lions scramble to find secondary answers through free agency or late drafts. But I don't see that happening. The urgency for Tampa to rebuild and the Lions' desperate need for elite coverage makes this a perfect storm. And in terms of projective impact, with Davis on board, Detroit's secondary transforms from a liability to a strength. Opposing QBs think twice before testing that side of the field. Their defensive metrics skyrocket, and suddenly, the Lions are back in the conversation for NFC supremacy. Imagine a defense that can generate turnovers, limit explosive plays, and give Jared Goff more freedom to operate. This trade could be the catalyst. Let me give you a quick breakdown of the mechanics. The Lions would likely offer a mid-round pick, say, a third or fourth, and perhaps a player they see as expendable, maybe a young linebacker or a developmental safety. Tampa's front office, hungry for cap relief and future assets, would jump at this. Cap gymnastics. It's manageable, Davis's salary fits their budget, and they could even structure a small bonus to ease Tampa's immediate cap hit. Conversely, Detroit could prioritize a quick reload, leveraging the trade to create space for upcoming signings or draft picks. And what about the fit? Scheme-wise, Davis slides right in as a lockdown corner. He'd be an immediate upgrade over their current starters. His style, physical, aggressive, matches Campbell's ethos of relentless, ball-hawking defense. Plus, the leadership qualities he brings would elevate the entire secondary, one of the few missing pieces that would push Detroit from good to great. Comparison. Think of it as a draft day steal similar to acquiring a Jalen Ramsey or Ramsey-esque talent. Elite, dependable, game-changing. In terms of projected impact, best case, Davis locks down WR1s and creates a domino effect. Opponents are forced to double-team him, opening lanes for blitzes and other coverage schemes. The Lions' pass defense could jump from near the bottom to top 10 overnight. Worst case, he struggles with the adjustment, but given his proven track record, I see no reason why he wouldn't adapt seamlessly to Detroit's scheme. especially with Campbell's aggressive coaching style. So here's my verdict. This deal isn't just plausible, it's inevitable if the Lions want to truly crown themselves contenders. The league whispers confirm that Tampa is fielding calls and Detroit has the ammunition and the desire. They need a player like Davis to turn their secondary into a fortress. Expect the trade negotiations to heat up within the next few weeks, mark my words. This isn't just another move, it's a statement, a declaration that Detroit is serious, that they're ready to reclaim their throne, and that this season they're going all in. Now, what should you be watching? The window for a deal is opening. Keep your ears to the ground. This is the type of transaction that can happen suddenly out of nowhere. The moment that news drops, everything changes. It could be announced after the combine, during the NFL draft, or even in the opening days of free agency. But mark my words, if this happens, it's a game changer and no one will see it coming until it's done. In the end, this trade could go down as one of the defining moments of the 2026 NFL season. It's about future legacy, about rewriting history. And if the Lions pull it off, they'll have their own version of a dream team secondary, a unit that strikes fear into quarterbacks and commands respect across the league. The value? Priceless. The confidence? Unstoppable. And the legacy? Secured. This isn't just a rumor, my friends. It's the beginning of a new chapter and the start of what could be a dynasty. Stay tuned because what's coming next, it's bigger than you ever imagined.